Our next speaker is Gavin Rennick, Managing Director of Schlumberger Australia Proprietary Limited and the Geo-Market Manager of Schlumberger Australasia, a position he assumed in 2009. Based in Perth, he is responsible for over 20 Schlumberger businesses across Australia, New Zealand, PNG, and Timor-Leste. Previously, Gavin has held a variety of senior positions within Schlumberger internationally, including Worldwide Segment Personnel Manager in the USA, Drilling and Measurements Operations Manager in Scandinavia and the U.S. Gulf Coast, and as Corporate Communications Manager. Gavin holds a double degree in Electrical Engineering and Commerce from the University of Western Australia and had joined Schlumberger as a field engineer in Saudi Arabia in 1998. Gavin, it's a pleasure to have you with us today, and we look forward to your presentation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It's always lovely to be here in New Zealand, and I'd like to thank Kevin for inviting me to speak at this conference. Before I get going, as a US-listed company, I'm also required to show you this slide regarding forward-looking statements. But while you're digesting all of that, let me just frame a little bit my presentation. Many of the speakers of this conference will discuss in depth their opinions on the energy needs of the country and indeed the world, and the role the oil and gas industry in New Zealand can play in meeting those needs. While I'll touch on this briefly, the bulk of my comments will focus on the role that we feel service companies like Schlumberger can play in this overall equation, with a particular focus on the needs of New Zealand. And by the end of my comments, I hope I will have convinced you of a number of things. Firstly, that we are very interested in New Zealand and believe the industry here has great potential. Next, that we feel technology will play a key role in unlocking that potential and the success of the industry here. And last, that integration, execution, and engagement are all areas where we feel the service sector has a role to play. So a few macros. The general predictions on global energy demand and the changing dimensions of supply from the EIA are shown here on this slide. In general, we all agree. We all agree that the world will need more energy, and as a result, more hydrocarbon production. We all agree that the Asian markets will continue to be a key demand growth catalyst. And we agree that in order to meet demand, our industry will need to be successful in both maximizing recovery from mature provinces, as well as ensuring new resources are discovered. A significant amount of those new resources are expected to come in the form of either unconventional or deepwater plays, the latter often in frontier geographic areas such as the Canterbury and Great South Basins of New Zealand, or indeed next door in the Great Australian Bight. So what are the drivers then? The drivers we see are really quite simple. Maintaining production domestically here in New Zealand and replenishing reserves for energy security reasons must happen. By the way, globally, the industry has struggled with this, underinvesting in exploration for the last decade and posting reserve replacement ratios of 100%, well below what is needed for long-term sustainability. In addition to with the hunger from Asian customers and the advent of technology that are like floating LNG, that are enticing possibilities of a healthy export market from areas of the world with potential like New Zealand. But I should note that all of these should be preceded by two phrases: first, safely, responsibly, and second, economically. Yet there are also many challenges to overcome, and this is one of the areas where we feel we play a role. Exploration success in mature provinces, while economically rewarding, is becoming increasingly challenging. Frontier exploration in more difficult environments like deepwater, with very deep targets, drilling into higher pressures and temperatures, and in more complex geological settings. To overcome some of these technical challenges, many areas, including New Zealand, need, as Bob referred to, the latest and hence most expensive rig technology, which magnifies issues around weather windows, around logistics, and around mobilization. Unconventional petroleum systems, largely on land, are also bringing a totally new dimension to reservoir and completion understanding, and what efficient and effective exploration, appraisal, and development, and indeed production actually mean. In addition, The communities and traditional owners, such as the iwi here, where we work, are increasingly involved in the projects we undertake, both offshore and on land. So ensuring an effective process for engaging with communities and other stakeholders is important. And lastly, a high standard of regulatory framework, being both effective and efficient, coupled with a stable legislation system that encourages exploration is key. And this is certainly something we feel you have the makings of here in New Zealand. First, I'll step back a little bit with a little history. And the fact that we find New Zealand interesting is not a new position. Our company was founded in 1927 by a couple of brothers that invented wireline logging. And the log on the right side of this slide is the first wireline log that we have on record as having ever been run in New Zealand. This was in 1942 for the Superior Oil Company of New Zealand, core hole 9 in the Kotuku field in Grey, Westland, logged to a grand depth of 616 feet. And our wireline division remains alive and well here today. Since then, a lot has changed, but our interest in New Zealand has not. I myself participated in an early deepwater exploration program here in the 90s. We brought key geosteering technologies to some of the field here in the mid-2000s, and this year we've invested further by acquiring significant amount of high-end 3D multi-client data in the seismic data in the Taranaki Basin. So we believe that New Zealand has a lot of potential and we continue to invest here. But what else is needed for the industry to be successful? Here lies the role of technology, which we feel passionately can and must play a role in success. In the context of management of exploration, I'll share with you now some of the learnings we have from dealing with our customers globally. Firstly, ensuring you have the best quality of data, early seismic, as early as possible in the cycle is important. Not only does this dramatically improve chances of successfully identifying prospects, but it flows through into many other aspects of de-risking the exploration process. Next, maximizing the value of that data through integrated workflows, right through to the exploration drilling program is important. The key word here is integrated, which allows you to do this both well and efficiently by having the right integrated software, people, and processes to enable this. When you go to drill those first exploration wells, selecting top-tier partners that have the technology, integration capability, and operational capability to help you to get wells drilled safely, efficiently, and with all the data required at the level of quality you need is key. Let's talk a little bit about that seismic. On this slide, I'd like to present a very recent example of applying the philosophy of leveraging the best technology early in the exploration cycle. Shown here is a north-south section of broadband seismic data acquired by our Western GECO division using the oblique acquisition method in the Taranaki Basin. This section is from a fast-track volume produced on the West vessel. The section is about 150 kilometers long and shows depths to approximately 5,000 meters. As the geophysicists and geologists among you can see, the quality of this is excellent. From preliminary imaging, allowing quick identification of potential target sections and also petroleum features. In fact, the finalized data set may well negate the need for any subsequent seismic shoots over prospective targets prior to development programs, meaning less cost, lower operational impacts, and in the case of a discovery, faster time to market. So now that you have that great seismic data, what next? Historically, the industry has used seismic data to generate prospects and well logs to produce petrophysical interpretations, but that's now changing. With truly integrated workflows, the Earth models generated by seismic are intuitively updated and inversions constrained with the latest data available. Prospects can be identified and ranked, well trajectories and targets can be designed taking into account an assessment of the execution risks. The key words here again are around managing risk. When this is done interactively, a far richer process that evaluates many aspects that are important for success, like stress and strain for geomechanics or fracture systems in the case of unconventionals, is the result. Here's a real example of integration. Drilling an exploration well using the technology and integration process we call seismic guided drilling. A geological model based on good quality seismic identified a target and generated a proposed drilling plan for an exploration well, including casings and mud weights. By acquiring seismic data and petrophysical measurements, such as formation pressure, on LWD, as the well was drilled, we were able to update the seismic model in real time to both narrow the depth uncertainties and ensure the well was drilled to the correct horizon. But more importantly, we were also able to detect and predict overpressured zones ahead of the bit. In this case, this resulted in changes in the mud weight and casing program, saving this particular customer significant drilling issues and allowing the well to be drilled to the target and the data needed acquired. This is all about successfully managing exploration risk. All of this, of course, relies on a platform of excellence in execution, a key area of focus for us in the last decade. And that really boils down to a number of factors. Firstly, technology that's designed not only for its functional purpose, but also for safety, for integrity, and for reliability. We've invested significantly in this in our research and development worldwide. And our integrated drilling systems, for example, have more than doubled our reliability in just the last couple of years. Next, the best people in terms of their focus, firstly on safety and integrity, but also operations capability, and wrapping this into an envelope of overall competency are key. By the way, we see the development of people as a key part of our responsibility as a service provider. And along with the people we employ in New Zealand today, we have nearly as many New Zealanders outside of New Zealand around the rest of the world that are in training as part of our talent pipeline. In addition to this, we see growing trend in customers engaging us in providing supporting services in terms of planning and risk management, as well as the coordination needed to truly extract the value from integrated services, something which has yielded significant positive results in terms of operational improvement. The last area where the service sector can and is playing an increasing role is in engagement with stakeholders. And really we seek to do this through two different means. The first is technology and the second transparency. Let me give you an example. The picture above is of a wave glider, a new technology we're very excited about, and you can see one downstairs at our booth. I'll play a short video while I talk. In essence, this is a wave-powered robotic surfboard that can self-navigate or be piloted remotely and can remain at sea independently for a year. In fact, we let one of these go from California. It came across the Pacific to Hawaii and then down to Sydney in just under a year, very recently. This technology has the potential to acquire a myriad of measurements in a cost-effective manner. For instance, you can collect ocean and current data, conduct a baseline survey of naturally occurring hydrocarbon seeps in an area before any activity commences, acoustically or optically monitor marine life over long periods, and provide this data to stakeholders and communities that might be interested in it to give back a little bit. In addition, it has many industry applications, such as communicating with subsea installations and generally reducing our operational footprint and allowing us to be less intrusive. Lastly, as a company, philosophically, we believe very strongly in transparency. Our experience shows that earlier communication with all stakeholders, community members, and traditional owners is very important. We work closely with our customers, with government and regulators on this to explain our overall plans and thoroughly work through and address any community concerns. Transparency, again, key. So to conclude, we as a company see great potential in New Zealand. We've done so for a long time, and we continue to do so. We believe technology is absolutely key in achieving success, and the recent multi-client survey we've shot is a good example of our conviction in this. To maximize the value of great technology, you need strong processes and platforms for integration and a quality integrated service partner. Delivering world-class technology to this market within the best execution framework should be both expected and demanded by the industry here and the operating sector. And lastly, we feel that the service sector can contribute meaningfully to support and help in engagement. To conclude, I'd like to say that it's now over 70 years from our first foray into New Zealand, and we continue to be excited about the potential and the bright future of the industry here. Thank you.